So when Maria de Lourdes Sobrino realized that ready-to-eat gelatin just didn't exist in the United States, she launched an idea. It started with her hand-making 300 cups of her dessert a day to now selling 50 million cups a year with her company, Lulu's Dessert. That's some delicious success in a cup, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Maria de Lourdes Sobrino to our program. Come on out, Maria. Great to see you.
Hi,
welcome.
How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Yeah.
Muy bien.
Yes, muy bien. Nice to have you. That's the extent of my Spanish, by the way. Now, we are going to take some Spanish questions, I understand, in our program.
Great.
So if you're a Spanish-speaking person watching us right now, you can call in Spanish. We'll translate for everyone, and we'll also have also Spanish emails that we can translate as well.
Oh, great. That would be fantastic.
So call us or write us or send us a comment. So, Maria, you were living in L.A., and you had this craving for ready-made gelatin, something that you grew up with in your homeland of Mexico.
Exactly.
And you couldn't find it anywhere.
Well, let me give you a little bit of the story of what's behind Lulu's Desserts. And I was born and raised in Mexico, and I started basically in my life 6 different businesses. And one of them gave me the opportunity to expand my business into the United States. But don't think it was a gelatin dessert. It was a travel and convention company. That really gave me the opportunity to come to the U.S. But a few months later, when I came, something happened that really collapsed my business, my travel business. Mm-hmm. So after doing all the work, coming here to the U.S., I didn't want to give up. I said, well, let me find another niche. And as a consumer, one day I was looking for a gelatin dessert because it's a tradition that we have at home. And I couldn't find it. So I did a small research. I was living in Redondo Beach at that time. And the supermarkets didn't have anything available. So I said, well, if there's nothing available, I'm going to make my own. So I went all the way to Tijuana, bought my ingredients, and from there I started making some samples and gave it to neighbors. And, I didn't have a lot of friends, but the few friends that I had, I gave some samples. And they say, why don't you start a business in gelatin? I said, but I don't know nothing about the food industry. So I called the health department, and that's how I started getting some information. And they told me, you can't start from home. You need to have a business. So the first thing every Latino thinks about is a retail store. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started with a 700 square feet retail store.
Just a small little place.
Just a small little thing.
And so you took a failure and turned it into a success story.
My life completely changed.
Right, you went 180 into a business you knew nothing about.
Exactly.
But you saw a need. Yes. And you decided to fill it.
Yes.
And that's what we talk about so often. It doesn't need to be like something completely new. You don't have to reinvent the mousetrap. You just have to see a lack of a product or make it better. Okay, so you had some challenges, though, at the very beginning in terms of your lack of resources, your raw materials.
Exactly. I didn't have no suppliers. I didn't know where to buy sugar, gelatin, so I started little by little. Imagine, the resources were only the Yellow Pages at that time, and talking to people, going to the library, the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. How do you get information? So that's how really I started opening, and I really lost a lot of time, maybe years, doing my research slowly. Now in these days you can do much better, with the internet and find a lot of information.
But you were actually in the library reading books.
Exactly, and taking classes at night, and taking English classes also at night. So all kinds of things were happening. But, the most important thing happened basically when I had to find my first customers. That's where really the story starts.
Okay, before we even get to that story, though, I have to start by just sampling something. What do you want me to try first?
You like a sugar-free product?
I'll try that,
sure. 3-layer?
I love sugar, though.
Sugar-free.
This is sugar-free?
Okay, this is exactly how I started my product. My first gelatin was a 3-layer. The green,
Yes, the Mexican flag,
Yeah,
right?
the Mexican flag. So everybody likes strawberry. This is our #1 flavor. So you have a variety here of 3 flavors at
That's
the
really
same time.
sugar-free?
Yes,
it's very sweet.
It is sweet, but at the same time, it doesn't give you the aftertaste there.
Wow,
so
more fun for your spoon, it says.
Yeah, I love that slogan, more fun for your spoon.
And for your mouth. That's delicious. And this is low fat, too, isn't it?
Yes, it is a very light snack and delicious product. You can eat gelatin. Actually, we eat gelatin for breakfast, lunch, dinner, after dinner, anytime during the day. It's a good moment to have a gelatin.
All right, so let's get back to where we left off, where you said the story really starts with how you found your customers.
Yes. Guess what? I found out that nobody understood my product. They thought it was too simple. You know, you can make Jell-O. I think that's the word they used at that time. And I say, why don't you understand the word gelatin? No, that's what really this is all about. And they say, well, we don't know what is this about. Anybody can prepare it at home. I say, yes, it's available in powder, but this is more convenient because it's ready to eat. So at that time, we're talking about 25 years ago, okay? Penny, that's
right.
the time that so when I said, you know, my customers, I was ready to close my little store 3 months later. And I said, well, if my customers don't come to me, I want to go and look for my customers. So I decided to fill my gelatins in a cup. They were not in a cup before. They were just in a little paper, and you could eat it like that, like a bakery type. So I said, I need to move my product to the customers where they are. So I put them in a cup, and then I put it in my car. And I said, I'm going to drive around LA and try to find little mom and papa stores. I didn't want to have supermarkets. I was afraid of supermarkets.
Why?
Because I didn't know what I was. First of all, I needed to test the product.
Right.
Okay, I didn't have no competition at that time, so
there was nothing like this available.
Nothing like this available. So I had to go and test the product first. So that's how I went to the mom and pop stores, and I said, "Well, would you like to buy some gelatin? What's that?" And people were laughing at me and say, "I mean, anybody can do this product?" Well, I said, "Why don't I leave it on consignment basis?" So that's how basically I started. Can I leave consignment basis? Yes, please allow me to put a little bit of product there, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, so your mom and pop store started stocking your prepackaged, ready-to-eat gelatin, and then you're doing this all by yourself.
300 cups a day.
300 cups a day.
Yes.
And then a big competitor came into the picture.
Well, let me just tell you before that, you know, my aha moment, it was when exactly the same day that I was delivering my product into the stores. My customers calling me and said, Senora, we need more gelatins because they were sold. So that's when I really decided, oh my God, I had a winner. You know, I have a company
Eureka.
now. Yeah, I know. I have a product that people liked. I needed to test that before I continued really seriously, because I was kind of playing gelatin at that time, and I was not really serious, you know, staying here in the U.S. My family, by the way, they were all a little bit embarrassed, you know, because they say, how come Lourdes is, you know, making gelatinas in the United States, you know, and we're here. So they thought I was a little bit crazy about all this. But, you know, I really wanted to prove that my idea was good. You know, it was something that I found a niche. And that's how really everything started.
Okay, hold your thought. Because
Okay.
I have Isabel on the phone from Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
Yes, and she wants to talk with you. She has a question for you. And Isabel, hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hi.
Muy bien.
María de Lourdes, estoy muy contenta de poder hablar contigo. Eres mucha inspiración para mí. Acabo de llegar a Los Ángeles, quiero comenzar mi negocio de postres. Yo hago pasteles. Quiero saber qué te inspiró y qué te motivó para poder seguir en el negocio y poder triunfar en los Estados Unidos en vez de regresarte a tu país.
Okay, let me translate the
Yes,
the
that'd be
question.
great. So we
Okay,
know what she
Isabel is asking that she just came to the United States and she's making some cakes, I think that she said, and she would like to have some advice about and what really motivated me to stay here in the U.S. And that's right, you know, that's one of the big challenges that we have when we come and leave our family in our country. But the most important thing that motivated me was having customers. So let me tell her in Spanish, okay? Isabel, déjame decirte que fue realmente la inspiración para mí el haber tenido clientes en un principio. Muchas cosas me inspiraron, pero el tener clientes es muy importante, porque una vez que ya tienes clientes tienes un compromiso y ese compromiso lo tienes que cumplir. Así es que te felicito por tu negocio y ten mucha fe porque todo va a salir bien y tú nada más ten tus clientes listos ahí y no les falles. Eso es lo más importante. So what I'm saying to her is I congratulate her for her business, and the most important thing that happened to me was that I had customers. Once you have customers, you need to really work hard, and you need to work, you know, and deliver your product, because once you have a product there and you have customers, you need to continue the service, you know, and to continue to be there. So that's very important.
All right, Isabel, thank you. We're kind of running out of time. We have lots more we got to get to you to. So thank you, Isabel, for your phone call. So let's talk about this competitor. We never mentioned that this competitor came into the picture and all of a sudden.
Yeah, well, it was 11 years later after I started, and I was really crazy with developing products. And then one day I saw a big advertisement in TV that was Bill Crosby, you know, talking about Jell-O gelatin ready to eat. I said, oh my God. you know, and I said, oh, my company's going to die. You know, it's just, what can I do against Jell-O? But you know what happened? Something strange happened. I never, you know, at this point, we have never paid advertisement in TV. But what he did is bring the awareness to the consumer about having gelatin ready to eat in the supermarkets.
So he was advertising for you too.
Yeah. So what happened is when I honestly, I even sent all my furniture to Mexico. I was ready to give up, honestly, and I said, I'm not going to be fighting against a big company. But what happened really is that all my companies started to grow in sales. I never had what I call the single color gelatin until Jell-O came with that concept. My products were more elaborated with three layers, parfait, fruit, with cinnamon, you know, a little bit more value, you know, for your product. But single color, I say, okay, fine, we'll do it single color, and that's how the category grew. And now you find so many companies producing gelatin and individual portion desserts in these days. So I'm very proud, you know, to say that we were the first company that started the category in the country.
All right, now we have a lot of information, but we're not going to have time for it because your story is so fascinating, and you've written a book, and people can get lots more details about your experiences and your going into Walmart eventually. I mean, the biggest retailer in the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, let me tell you a little bit how I started with Walmart, and this is an advice for everybody.
We're running out of time, so make it quick.
Well, you need to do your homework. Before you go to any large, you know, national account, you need to do your homework and be ready for inspections and be ready to have, you know, the right product, the right price, the right distribution, and also at the same time, from the financial side, you need to support that growth, you know, with your own finances, because you need to give them terms. You need to be prepared for that growth. It's a one chance that they give you, and if you fail, you know, you're going to lose that opportunity. But don't be afraid. Just put together, I recommend always to do a certification, a minority women-owned certification. That helps a lot to do business with companies, and that's how it helped me to do with Walmart. So it's a great company to do business. You just need to do the right things and go to the website, supplierdiversity.com at walmart.com, and you can go directly and send your certification and start doing business with them.
All right, my dear, quickly the name of your book so everyone can hear.
Thriving Latin Entrepreneurs in America.
Yes, get it and get all the great advice from Maria de Lourdes Sobrino. You are one tough lady, smart.
Thank you so much.
Survivor.
It's
Thank
a great
you.
opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
you.
We're going to eat Jell-O and then take a break. And if you'd like more information about Lulu's dessert, visit sbsummit.com/guests. Okay, I'm going to try this one again. I really like it.